everybody. Okay, I'm about to log on to Instagram here as well. I'm gonna go live on Instagram. This is my first time going live on Instagram. Okay, then. So here I go. Hey, everybody. It has been a while. Yes, it's been a minute since I have been here on the social media talking, but your girl is back. So I said I got a new look. Cut my hair off, got me a little color in it. It's doing something different because I like light hair. I've come to find I ain't rocking with the dark hair no more. So I really like light hair. So it's good to be back. Give y'all an update on what's been going on with me. Let me. Hey, Mr. Cheney, how are you? So yes, y'all, that's my heart, Mr. Cheney. Mr. Cheney, let me tell y'all about Mr. Cheney. Mr. Cheney gave me my first opportunity, and I was his first author to showcase on his radio show out there in DC when he was a part of the magic family. So I'm just so like I'm forever Mr. That's like my uncle. He don't even know it though, but Mr. Cheney like my uncle. So thank you for tuning in. And what's up, Marcus from the Veterans Plug, y'all? Hey, if y'all haven't and don't know out here in these veteran streets, you want to connect with the Veterans Plug. Not only is he bringing like information about VA disability, but y'all, he hipping us to that real estate thing too. So it's like you looking for a home, hit up the Veterans Plug, okay? But let me introduce myself for those who don't know who I am. I am Coach Marsha. I am the founder of You Are Still a Veteran, which is we are in the process to becoming one of the newest veteran service organization out here in these veteran streets. And also, the beautiful part about You Are Still a Veteran, because I'm like, okay, we got enough veteran service organizations, but you don't have one like this. Our unique mission is we serve all veterans, regardless of character of discharge, right? We serve all veterans, regardless of character of discharge. And that's the uniqueness about us. I mean, hey, when the other national organizations can't receive you all because of different barriers that you might have, of different disqualifiers that you might have, primarily those being negative character of discharge, right? So what happens is that they can't take you because of the bylaws. And so I am starting here in the great state of Texas, starting out communicating what my mission is, what my role is, and what I can bring into the veterans community, letting them know one organization at a time, one post at a time, that, hey, I'm here to collaborate with you. I'm here to assist you with those veterans that you cannot. And so that we're not in competition in these veteran streets. We're here to complement you all and pick up the slack, right? Because unfortunately, what has been found is that of the 22 that commit suicide on a daily basis in the veteran community, unfortunately, those who have transitioned from the military with bad paper aren't in those numbers. And so what I've positioned myself to do here, you are still a veteran, which I call us USOV. We come to solve that problem. And any and everything that we do, I bring solutions, y'all. If it's a problem that has set in my lap, I am your girl coming to bring the solutions. And so a little bit about me. I am an 11-year Army combat veteran. You know, most people don't like to like tap into that combat part. But look, I work hard. I earned these stripes. What? Do you hear me? Working for the United States Army, and I'm a proud, and I served my country proudly too. So with some of the greatest people that I serve, from the leadership to my battle buddies to the soldiers that I had the opportunity to groom to become leaders in this the second greatest organization in this world, next second to the kingdom of God, of course, because y'all know, they don't nothing trump the kingdom of God, right? And so with that being said, I am, of course, 11-year Army veteran. I am an author. I am a motivational speaker. I'm an advocate for the currently incarcerated, formerly incarcerated. I am a lifestyle strategist, simply put, a life coach. And a little bit about my story, how I became the founder of You're Still a Veteran. I defrauded the government, right? Defrauded the government, worked for the Army, took advantage of my position that I held as a budget analyst at this great organization out of DC called USMOG. I utilized the government's checkbook as my personal checkbook. And as a result of that, I ended my self up in the military correctional facility. And for some military members, that's the brig. For those who don't know, military correctional facility, jail, prison. No, it wasn't jail, it was prison. And so I end up serving time. I ended up serving time at the Miramar Brig in San Diego, California. Got a 34-month sentence. Ended up doing 17 months there. And then on my way home, I was like, once I was released, came back home and really didn't know what to do with myself, right? Because I found out very quickly that America is not very welcoming to convicts or convicts, convicted felons, formerly incarcerated, whichever title that you choose to utilize. They're not very welcoming. And it was a struggle, to be honest with you. And so, in with that, I had to pivot. I had to hey, it's like a fight or flight. And I knew that I didn't want to go back to jail. So what I did is I do what any great former non-commissioned officer would do, is that I got into regulation. I began to search to see what can I do so I can be able to navigate this system. So I'm a veteran. So what did I do? I go file my VA disability claim. Needless to say, when they came back, they told me, hey, you're not authorized any benefits. I was like, the devil is a lie. I served 11 years. You ain't finna take that from me. And so what I did is I began to search their regulation, which is the 38 CFR, which is one of the regulations that the VBA, which is Veteran Benefits Administration, is governed by. And what I found is that I could potentially be authorized benefits. And so what I did is I strategically put together my packet, following some of the guidelines, showing that these are my periods of service, these are my conditions, and I ensured that those conditions fell within that honorable service period. So it's 2 honorable service periods that I had. And 8 years later, here your girl is over 30% service-connected disabled veteran, right? Yes. Kudos to me, right? And then as a result of that, and I end up working for Virginia Department of Veteran Services. So in that process of me taking care of myself, I worked with this organization as a veterans claims agent, and I learned the job. And because I learned that job, I became very good at what it is that I do. And now I am in a process of becoming one of the newest veteran service organizations out here, to get in the fight to assist veterans. So many veterans get the benefits that they're legally entitled to. But my specific niche is those veterans who transition from the military with bad paper. And, simply put, anything with, and I don't like to say other than honorable discharge, because when you have general discharges, you have OTH discharges, you all are entitled to benefits. Sometimes you might not know that. So I say those veterans as well, because it's this myth out there that you're not entitled. That's not true. You just have to get in front of the right person at the right time to be able to assist you. And so let's get in with what I want to discuss with you all today. Because at USOV, which is You Are Still a Veteran, I like to say USOV because we come in here solving problems, right? Bringing solutions, right? And so what we're going to talk about today are the 5 ways to establish service connection. Because people out here think that you can do it this way, this way, this way, this way. The regulation is clear. It's 5 ways to establish service connection. So I made some notes here. So in Instagram world, it might seem like I'm just talking to this world, but right here in this monitor here, I have 3 other platforms that I'm speaking to here. And so, and I haven't yet figured out how to get Instagram in my Restream quite yet. I don't know how to get it on my desktop where I have the option to video as well. So I can only do it from my cell phone right now. And this is my first live in Instagram. So maybe if I use it a little bit more, it will translate over into my desktop. I don't know. But I'll figure it out eventually. Or if y'all know how to assist your girl, let me know. Hey Virgo twin, nice to meet you. So with that being said, we're talking about the 5 ways to establish service connection. And them give a little history. When a military service veteran files a claim for disability compensation with the VA, it's either for an illness or a disability that resulted from military service, a illness or disability which resulted from military service. And one of the first things a veteran has to do to establish that current illness is or disability is connected to the veteran's military service. This is called establishing service connection. So establishing a service connection, that's the first thing that has to be done. And so with that being said, is 5 methods of establishing the service connection for a current disability, disease, or illness. 5 ways, right? The first way is direct service connection. That's direct service connection. While a direct service connection can be established in any number of ways, it generally means that there's clear evidence, like it's not without a shadow of a doubt that this thing is related to your time in service. So, in as well as evidence of a linkage, like linking your time in service to this particular illness, disease, or disability. So illness, disease, or disability. And an example of, and wrote this example here. A veteran is paralyzed from the waist down, right? In the military service, the veteran suffered an injury. This is for all our airborne individuals. Airborne school, breaking his back during a parachute landing, right? And in this example, the veteran's paralysis is a direct result of his military service. And then, so if you're active duty, all diagnosed conditions are direct service connected. But most veterans these days are like, hey, Marsha, I didn't go to sick call. I didn't go to the doctor. It's not a showstopper, guys. It's not. It's called statement of support, a lay statement, writing a note. And then we have to, the burden of proof is unfortunately on the veteran. If you know that you never went to the doctors, which is probably 97% of us never really went to the doctors because promotion meant everything to us, right? And because of that, we are, it would be like you got to show, you got to prove it, right? Like airborne, you would think like, hey, I'm airborne. They know I jump out of planes, my knees, my ankles, my back, as a result, I got over 300 jumps, but the thing is that when that rater, when that examiner gets your packet, he or she doesn't know that. They can't just assume. We have to show them proof, the linkage. We have to connect the dots for them, right? And so next we'll go to presumed service connection. And it says certain conditions or diseases are presumed to be service connected because they have presumptives, right? And presumptives. The VA has a list of conditions that are presumed to be related to service in their presumptive periods, almost like the PAC Act. Well, exactly like the PAC Act. What President Biden signed into law for PAC Act. This is exactly what I am discussing right now. Like I said, the PAC Act, but veterans exposed to Agent Orange, like some of those conditions could be like a side effect could be, one of the presumptive conditions is Parkinson's disease. Because of medical professionals and different what do we call professionals have did the research and connected Agent Orange to Parkinson's disease, Agent Orange to, and it's so many variables, y'all, that could be associated with this. And so presumptive conditions are, simply put, presumptive conditions. So, and it's so important that when veterans, I say we, are out here filing for our disability claims, it's so important that you get with a veteran service officer, a veteran service organization, accredited claims agent, or attorneys. Like, I know, like me, I'm in a shoot awaiting for my packet to be approved, right, through the OGC, and that's the entity at VA that approves you to be tested to become a veterans claim agent, and for you to be approved as one of the VA recognized veteran service organizations out here designated to assist our country's veterans. So I'm in this one group on Facebook, and what I have found is that it is so many organizations out here that are like pirates to veterans, and they charge umpteen dollars to, like, thousands and thousands of dollars to assist veterans, and sometimes they don't even get the results that they promise, and the veteran is back at square one. And then when you have an organization like myself coming up to help the veterans, because I do charge a small fee, a very small fee, compared to those out there in the veteran community that assist the veterans, with what they're doing. And I'm very, very upfront. Hey, my paperwork is in the chute to be approved. I have done this. I was accredited under this, under the Virginia Department of Veteran Services. So I am qualified. But however, these are the free organizations that you can go to get the service that I am providing. So at the end of the day, the veteran finally decides, hey, I want to go with you. I prefer to go with you. But I always, in the beginning, let the veterans know, hey, I do charge a fee, but these are the free organizations in your area that's designated to assist you. And as I build this organization, I do go out and I build relationships with those partners, community partners who do this, so they can know that, I am a available hand to assist in this process of assisting the veterans to get service connected, right? And so we've talked about two of the 5 ways to establish service connection. The first way is direct service. The second way is a presumed service connection. And presumed is the same as our PACT Act. And it's something that has been put into law that says these conditions right here during these periods in these areas are considered presumptive conditions. And if you have been diagnosed, key thing is, even though you were in the area, you still need a diagnosis of that particular condition to be considered rateable for service connection, if that makes sense. If y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Okay. And let's move on to number 3 is our pre-existing injury aggravated by military service. Pre-existing injury aggravated by military service. In this type of service condition, the veteran had a condition prior to coming in, and then an event occurred in military service that made the pre-existing condition worse. Example, A veteran had a skin condition prior to intermilitary service, but due to exposure to certain chemicals in the military, the skin condition was made worse than it ever would have been on its own. In a situation as this, the military service is said to have aggravated the condition, the pre-existing condition. In such cases, the pre-existing condition usually must be noted on the service member's original medical exam, showing that the service member was not originally of sound health. And so, and what it is that one of my good friends, one of my battle buddies had this. And so pre-existing condition could be that um you had a dental condition, you know, you had like of course the skin condition, you had you had a fractured ankle prior to coming in, and you got a waiver to still come in, but during that time this condition was kept getting aggravated because you're airborne, right? And so you keep jumping out these planes, and then you end up landing, the wrong way. Instead of, a PLL, you ended up like come feet down, and you aggravated that thing. That thing was aggravated. So that might not be the best example, but y'all get what I'm saying. So pre-existing injury aggravated by military service, or like it's not likely that mental health conditions, because it could be potentially like you can have a mental health condition, and then in this you let the medical exam, you let them know that this is what has occurred, right? And then it could be over any number of things that could aggravate it, right? And so once it's aggravated, they go back, like when it's time to do your disability claim, like you have the ability to go back and get that original examination, and you can show that it was aggravated. Unless, say for instance, it was something that was missed, right? And like it could be missed on the exam or not documented. It's the burden of proof of the veteran once again to show that, hey, this was a pre-existing condition and it was aggravated as a result of A through Z. So it's just so, guys, it's so important that we become educated about what it is that we're doing in this next phase, and sometimes not solely depend on that person that is the professional subject matter expert in this field that we're in now, that we're putting all the burden on that individual to guide you. And so my purpose of coming on here every Monday, every Friday, is to educate you on certain things that we should know as veterans, and to assist us when we're communicating with the veteran service officer or credited claims agent that's assisting us with our disability claim. You know, it's just no different than us getting ready to go to a promotion board, us getting ready to go to, you know, to give a briefing or very important briefing, because some of us, hey, we do life altering briefings in the armed forces, and we're very well prepared for that. It's no different than when you transition out of the military, that when you're doing this VA disability, because to some, it's a lifeline for you, right? You have to put the same effort in this process as well. Yes, these people have been paid and slotted. This is what you do for this next phase of my life. But unfortunately, you're dealing with humans, just like in the military. Everybody don't put their best foot forward when it comes to executing missions, executing trainings, executing their job, right? Same way in the civilian sector as well. So it's so important that we as veterans, like, we got to be ahead of the game, right? We would never go in an abandoned building not ready, not expecting to be able to pop off, right? You ready, you go in like you ready. Like, I got my corner, I'm looking. I'm not going in there willy-nilly, uncovered. I'm going there looking for something, expecting for someone to come out to try to do something to me, and I get them before they get me, right? So it got to be the same thing. You got to equip, you got to prepare. You got to, I hate to say it, you almost got to train. But guess what? Over here, you ain't got to do all that. Me, my people and I, we're prepared to do the work for you all so you don't have to do that. And I'm telling you, we got a solid 3-part method. I'm telling you, to blow your mind. And you'll be very familiar with it too. So our next thing is, number 4 is secondary service connection. Now, this one right here is big. Secondary service connection. Because most veterans, they think of the primary condition, right? Primary condition. But I would have to tell you, like, don't knock the secondaries. Don't minimize the secondaries. Don't look over the secondaries, because that secondary could be the very thing that gets you over the hump to become that 100%, right? Or to get a higher rating, to get the rating that you believe that you deserve, right? And so with our secondary service connection, this type of service connection exists when one service-connected disability is a cause of another disability. It can be like, let's say, for instance, I got issues with my feet, right? Eventually, you got issues with both feet. It don't even have to just be one foot. You have issues with both feet. It eventually will affect your legs, your hip, and your back. Believe it or not. Those good old, that left and right foot right there. Them left and right feet. That left and right, left and right foot. It will begin to affect that. The medications that you take can cause secondary conditions. Believe it or not. And so with the secondary conditions, the second disability does not need to be doesn't have to be directly related to military service, because it's directly related to the primary thing, which is directly related to your military service, right? I know I said a lot right there. It could be a tongue twister, but y'all get it. Pay attention. I'll go back and listen to the replay, right? And so, but would not have occurred but for the first disability. So your secondary condition wouldn't even be a factor if it wasn't for the primary one. And like, people look at like, let's say, for instance, when you're dealing with, I'm going to give an example of diabetes type 2. Now, it's a lot of secondary conditions to diabetes. You have neuropathy, is secondary to diabetes. You have erectile dysfunction, secondary. And it's all because of the medicines that we take. Hypertension, right? Some of the medicines that you take for hypertension, secondary condition is, especially for our men, erectile dysfunction, right? And so, and guys, there's nothing to be ashamed of. That's just the nature of the beast. So automatically, if I find out that, oh, you do this is this, hey, you suffering from ED? Because it's a special monthly conversation go with that. So there's no need to be bashful, because they know that it's something that you deal with. So guess what's going to have to happen? Like, secondary condition, it's legit. It's legit. Like, a lot of our medicines that we take, a lot of conditions like lupus, a couple secondary conditions dealing with lupus will be depression. It could be anxiety. It can be neuropathy. It can be Raynaud's disease. It can be fibromyalgia. It can be like so many things. Arthritis. It can be so many things because with this primary condition, it can be compounded things that you can go with. And then with those extra conditions comes with the medications that you take, which bring on their own set of secondary conditions. So it's so important that when you sit down with your physician, when you sit down with your psychiatrist, therapist, that you factor in the total body, right? From head to toe. And don't be so quick to rush. Don't be so quick to discount. Like, because everything matters. Everything matters. And it seems like, well, it's not that big of a deal. Yes, it is. It is a big deal. PTSD, the medicines that you take, you deal with GERD, right? Heartburn and all this kind of stuff. TMJ, because sometimes like we can like grit your teeth and you running while your face is so sore. It's called TMJ. Secondary, insomnia, anxiety. Like, like even though you got these different things, well, insomnia automatically goes with it. Sleep apnea, and these different things that in order for you to get them as secondary conditions, guess what you got to do? Communicate to your doctor, get it documented. Documentation is key. And let's say, like, hey, Marsha, I haven't been to the doctor, but I'm dealing with these things. I highly recommend get plugged into your doctor. But however, it's a such thing as lay statements. But you're going to need a diagnosis. You're going to have to go to that doctor. Because one, like, you're going to have to get treated. Because even though, like, with us as veterans, and disability is a big thing for us because it comes with a income, but ain't nothing like you being healthy. It's nothing like you getting your health in alignment where you're beginning to feel whole again, right? Where you don't feel as if you are being torn down, like woe is me, like I have all these different ailments going on in my body. When I served, I was whole. Now that I'm not serving anymore, it's like I'm all broken. Wrong answer. I was about to say soldier, but we got Marines and airmen and Navy and coasties out here. So I can't call y'all soldiers. But today, all y'all gonna be soldiers, right?